Hello, everyone. Welcome to everyone on panel and those joining us from around the globe for another Global Ed Student Chat. Today, we're going to be discussing the climate and justice. Just for an overview of Global Ed Student Chat, this is a student-led Twitter chat connecting K-12 students around the world to discuss topics and questions related to character education, social justice, and citizenship. Global Ed Student Chat creates opportunities for students to network with others, gain perspective, build relationships with new learning partners in a literacy-rich learning environment, experience social media as a powerful platform for learning, and establish a positive digital footprint. Thank you so much for joining us. I know we were going to have Sam start us out with the tech talk. I know Sam is having some tech. Oh, Sam is here. Hey, our tech guru has made it. Sam, how do you feel about jumping us into the tech talk?
All right, sure. Let me pull up the page. So if you're watching us on YouTube, you can sign in with your Google account, and then you can use the chat comment. It should be the chat comment section. It should be to this side of your screen, and you can ask questions and answer our questions on there. You can also go to Twitter and follow the hashtag GlobalEdSSChat. So that's Global EDSS Chat to read the ideas, thoughts, and questions shared by others. We'll use the Q1/A1 format. Use the same hashtag Global EDSS Chat, to add your own thinking to get involved in the conversation. Feel free to share your first name or just your initials, and where in the world you're joining us from today. If you have any questions, bring them to our panel. Please remember that the audience is for K-12, so your comments and questions should be appropriate for all ages.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sam. We are going to have our students on panel introduce themselves. So we're going to start off with Namya.
Hi everyone, I'm Namya Joshi and I'm currently studying in grade 9 at Satpal Middle School in India, and I'm very excited again to be a part of the Global Student Chat Tech Talk today, so looking forward to it.
Thank you. And Maddie.
Hi everyone, I'm Madeline Davies. I am in 7th grade and I live on a small island in Southeast Alaska called Wrangell.
Excellent. And Sam.
Hi everybody, I'm Sam. I've been with the chat from the beginning. I can't even remember how many years it's been. I'm in grade 11 at LDSS. That's in Listowel, Ontario, Canada. If you don't even know where Ontario is, some people don't. And yeah, I'm excited for the chat today.
All right. And then I know Jennifer.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer Casa-Todd. I am a teacher librarian and author from Ontario, Canada, one of the co-founders of the Global Ed Student Chat. And I'm excited not just about this topic, but also amplifying student voice, because our student panelists, although small and mighty today, are awesome.
And I'm Michael Drezik. I'm a district tech integrator at Lakeshore CSD in Angola, New York. Happy to be here with everyone today. And we have a wonderful guest expert on panel, Arisha.
Thanks for the intro. Hi, everybody. It's really nice to see everybody come here and get together and talk about some incredible and important topics. My name is Arisha. I work with the Starfish Canada as a top 25 program manager, and I've been doing a lot of youth advocacy over 2 years now, so this is really inspiring to be around in the company of other youth and talking about climate justice. So yeah, let's see how this unfolds. Oh, and I'm currently based in so-called Vancouver.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. And it looks like we're going to have Namya take us through some norms.
Sure. So we will have 30 minutes to discuss the 3 questions. Please be mindful that this chat is open to students in K-12. Active participation from all the classes is how we learn. All comments made during the chat should be positive and productive. We welcome diverse opinions. You may not agree with something someone has said, but we ask that when challenging an idea, that you respectfully disagree the idea, not the individual person. Being respectful online includes language that is inclusive and culturally appropriate.
Excellent. All right. I think we can get started here. Madeline, do you want to lead us into our first question for today?
Sure thing. Okay. So, question 1. How do you contribute to climate injustice and what is your role in helping to protect the environment? So, I'll go first for this one. I contribute to climate injustice just by like riding in my car every morning on my way to school and having fires by the beach and just emitting those fossil fuels and, you know, things that people do a lot. And I my role in helping protect the environment is I've done trash pickups, which I guess helps with that thing and stuff.
That sounds great, Madeline. And if I talk about myself, the first thing I love to do is to share our voice to create awareness about climate action, making people aware with the help of digital citizenship by creating education lessons and games for climate action. Then supporting the people who are in the action so that they get motivated. And besides that, like as you know, each drop counts. So switching off the lights, carpooling, turning off the running tap water, and drying clothes in sun, segregating wastes, and following minimalism. That is a habit that I adopted from Marie Kondo.
You have to tell us more about this game, Namia, before we move on. Tell us more about the game that you've created for this.
Sure. So I basically used Minecraft to create education lessons. So one of the lessons that I created first was for the SDG goals. That is the magical world of books that revolves around SDG goal number 4, quality education. So that world is basically about how visual learning is important than just the text learning and how we can have equity education for all. So after I created that world, then I started mapping most of the worlds to the SDG goals like saving water, each drop counts. Then we have about renewable energy and then peace, justice, strong institutions. So I feel that as SDG goals are important to speak about, so are they important to learn by seeing them. So that's how I've created a few of the words on climate and justice. And I try to spread awareness about how we can save the environment.
Sam, do you want to add your ideas?
Yeah, well, we all contribute to climate injustice. I take the bus to school. I live far enough away that I need to take the bus to school, and I can't really get around that. I have campfires. We go camping a lot. We own 2 vehicles at home. It's kind of hard to not contribute to it and to the problem of climate change and all that. But I try to do my part in trying to help the environment. I turn lights off when I enter the room. Just those small things that help overall. I try to hold on to phones after I'm done using them. I'll use a phone for many years past most people would. I've donated to some charities to help clean up the oceans and like Team Seas, and I've donated to Team Trees as well. It was all kind of stuff to try to help the environment.
Amazing. A lot of these responses are so inspiring, and you guys are doing the best that you can in terms of contributing, for the environment. And a lot of the time that I found when I was working in the environmental space is that they try to make it as if it's an individual issue. So we try to think that we need to do our most by turning off the lights. And even though they do help, a lot of the times we find that it's a systemic thing, like a system issue, or how we can as youth. I really liked what Namia said about creating educational resources, like how you used Minecraft to inspire other people and kids to keep going with this idea of how to make SDGs more accessible, like for people to understand what the SDG goals are. And one of the things that I find is very important when it comes to environmental or climate justice is how we can support one another, like support the community, right? So yeah, I feel that a lot of times in I guess when you read articles, they talk about how you as an individual can help the environment, but we want to make sure that we are talking more as a collective, more as a community aspect of it, and how some communities do feel impacted by climate change more than others. So yeah, I like the idea of even carpooling, because in that way we can also collectively work together. It's just such a community-based initiative, I think, more than just individual. So you're doing all you can as individuals, but yeah. Does anybody want to add anything to that?
I mean, I think we're good to move on to question 2. I mean, you all covered quite a bit of ground there in a short time, so that's awesome. Madeline, you want to take us on to question 2?
Sure thing. Okay. Question number 2. What is your biggest concern when it comes to climate justice? And my biggest concern is that I live in Alaska, and our huge thing here is salmon, and my dad's a fisherman. He goes, and it's just part of our culture, and it's a big thing here. And with climate change, it's endangering some of the salmon. And like, we used to have a king salmon derby here, and we can't have that anymore because there's not enough salmon, and it's really scary to see that happen. And yeah.
That again is pretty great. Jennifer, I think you want to go next.
I was just going to say thank you for sharing that perspective, Madeline. That's what I love about having people from all over the world. That doesn't impact me in that way. I'm concerned about our lakes here and the quality and the cleanliness of the lakes, but we all, I guess, rely on food and the ecosystem, but I really appreciate you sharing that perspective.
It makes me think of the SDGs are connected, right? Life below water, climate action, they're all interconnected in some way. So yeah, that's a great point, Maddie.
If I think about like wildfires, droughts, earthquakes, or air pollution, they are a matter of concern, but the greatest source of concern, in my opinions, are we humans failing to recognize the necessity of environmental preservation. Because the climate brings out the negative impacts if things are taken casually. I believe the day we begin to recognize the value of, or begin to devote time by working like even on a bit of it, like simply by picking up trash, is the day we'll be able to make a difference in the world. So, as people say, that small deeds indeed lead us to great influences. So, we need to first of all start understanding, and that's what I think is the greatest, concern right now, because they are a part of the concern that we don't understand. That's why I wish this can be overcome first before we just start about talking things. But when we understand them, I think we all can overcome them together.
Yeah, my biggest concern for the whole when it comes to the climate and all that is just where I live in Canada right now, and BC is having major issues. They had a drought, and then they had fires, and now they're flooded. And that's just crazy. They had all this weather within like 3 months, and it just keeps changing and changing. And even here in Ontario, we're getting a lot of snow all of a sudden, and then in 2 days it's all gone. And then the next week we get a ton more snow, and then it's all gone and again in another 2 days. That's all because of the climate and climate change. We're warming up the planet, and it's coming back to bite us in the butt. Like we got to start doing something about it. And that's my biggest concern.
I like what you said, Sam, because I'm currently based in Vancouver too, and within 3 short months, we saw the wildfires that affected the vulnerable communities who live close to the forest. Like Lytton got into fire, And then, of course, now recently, Abbotsford and those areas in Chilliwack as well, which is based in BC, British Columbia. Now they're flooded too. I'm originally from Bangladesh as well, so flooding is something that we also commonly see in the south and in our communities as well. I used to live in the city, but more down in the rural areas, they're mostly impacted. So for me, what's biggest concern is that when we do transition or move forward with, let's say, Namia said about renewable energies or, clean water and all of that, let's not forget about the human side of it and the human aspect and how we can, again, bring community perspectives or even youth, right? Like Sam, you're saying, like we need to do something about it, and what do we do about it, And so a lot of my work I try to do is uplifting and amplifying youth voices, whether it be through the work that I do with the Starfish or Shake Up the Establishment, where I'm the director of research, and trying to make those spaces for young people and understanding that we need to compensate them, like making sure that it's accessible for them to participate, because a lot of times there's that big gap between the industry or adults and younger kids. So I find that the situation in the global south and the global north is not any different anymore as it was before. So yeah, I feel that on you, Sam. Yeah. Did anybody else want to add?
I think what you just shared really connects to our last question and the idea of youth and adults working together. So Maddie, do you want to bring us to our third question?
Sure thing. So number 3, who do you see making the biggest difference in climate justice? Today's youth or today's adults? How are they making a difference? And for me, I see today's youth making a difference because we are the people who will be around longest. We are what's making this, and we need to fix it. And I think that our youth today is the people who are taking action the most and doing all these climate like fundraisers and all that stuff. So I think today's youth is definitely who's going to be having to deal with climate change.
I think the biggest push right now for making a difference in our climate is Team Seas. If you don't know about Team Seas, they're an organization that's been built by Mark Rober and Mr. Beast. They have, along with a ton of other creators on YouTube, are trying to fundraise enough money to remove 30 million pounds of plastic out of the ocean. And they are halfway to their mark. $1 is 1 pound removed from the ocean. And that's the biggest push that has been in a long time that people have been donating to make a difference. And the biggest reason for that is because these big creators are all pushing for this, and they're bringing it out there, and people are more aware than they ever have been of this issue because that's the platform people are on now. And those are the people that are making the difference. The people that have influence, they're influencing other people to make a difference. So it's the adults, it's the kids, it's everybody. The kids see the video, the kids bring it to their parents. The parents then pay a little bit of money to help fundraise for this ocean cleanup project. So it's really everybody is trying to help clean up the ocean, help reduce carbon footprints, all of that.
That's an interesting point too. It kind of ties back to last month's chat on what's trending, right? Where we talked about fad versus trends. And I think this is something that we all want to see trend forever in the right direction.
As you all know that the effects of climate change are worsening over time. So the children and the young people of today will have to bear the brunt of the consequences. So I basically see the adults and youth both working to improve the environment in their own ways. But I'd agree with everyone who just said, but in today's world, I believe it's more likely to come from the youth. because young people are uniquely positioned to increase environmental awareness because they have a lot more knowledge and they have greater access to the environmental information because of their curious nature, which slowly starts declining in the elders. But they're also like the youth is also responsible for having many innovative solutions. But we cannot ignore the elders here because they do play a vital role in the lives of the youth because they're the ones who inspire them, motivate them, and are able to help them to safeguard the environment by motivating them to do more innovations. So finally, like success is always achieved through motivation and assistance. So I think it's the both people working together, but just in a different way.
Sorry, I didn't realize who was going next. I love all the responses that you've mentioned about both the adults and the youth, and I agree with that because adults have a different role when it comes to youth climate advocacy, or in this space where they're trying to support young people, and that's mentorship, right? And look at this call right now. Jen and Michael's making the space for all of you guys to have these conversations so that your stories are heard. And even my own mentorships, like I've done different projects and fellowships, without their mentorship and their guidance, wouldn't be able to do the work that we do now. But I do feel that because, like Namia said, young people feel that eco-anxiety because we're so close to it, and we feel that we are going to stay longer on this earth than the previous generation. A lot of the problems that are being caused right now is not really done by us. It's been done by, what has happened in the past. So we feel this urgent need to create solutions. And how do we do that? It really is about coming together and finding the strength in a community, because it can be very exhausting when you're doing it alone. Yeah, so I love that idea of just everybody helping each other out to get it done. And yeah, I think one other thing I did wanted to share is that the biggest concern with the climate justice issue, I think we have to think about how different communities, say Indigenous, Black, and communities of color, are being impacted, because they get impacted very differently. Like Madeline, I really appreciate your comment about, way of life, because fishing is something that's part of you, but that may not be part of other people. So when we're thinking about these solutions, how are we incorporating or adding everybody's way of life and, their ideas? So I really like that. Yeah.
And it makes me think about, too, from a teacher perspective, listening to you, and I'm a teacher on the older side of the spectrum. I'm going to be retiring in several years. And I just think back to, I think, what Namia pointed out about education. And I know that by talking about the SDGs in our schools, I think my grade 9 students are more aware of climate justice issues than my grade 9 students were 10 years ago or 15 years ago. And I do truly believe in the hopeful actions that, you young people are going to take, whether it's fast fashion or, standing up for the rights of others, or, ensuring that corporations don't get away with some of the pollution that they're getting away with. I'm really so hopeful for this next generation, for sure. Does anyone want to add any comments before we wrap up?
I'll just add that I think it's really great that the students, landed on this topic. It's one that hasn't come up yet in the history of our Global Ed Student Chat, On Ed Student Chat. So I would say shout out to all of the students for, seeing this as something important to talk about and try to raise awareness and spread their message around the globe.
I'll say too is I've been working with youth between the ages of, I think, want to say 11 to 30, and I recently volunteered for as a youth leader to work with different young people about reconciliation and environment. And the projects that they come up with, the ideas, the quality of ideas, are significantly way different than maybe my generation. So I like that you all chose this topic to kind of talk about it. So yeah, Namia, go ahead.
Thank you so much. So I just wanted to share like one of the festivals that we have in India is Diwali. So at that time we always like to burn crackers for fun. But what I've usually seen is um, first of all, I'm saying I'm against burning crackers because I don't want the environment to get polluted. But what I've seen in adults is that they always tend to tell their children not to burn crackers. But at the same time, they're the ones who are not following the norms, like not doing carpooling, wasting water, not turning off the lights. I think it has to be a place where we have mutual mutuality from both the sides. So if they're telling the children not to burn crackers, they themselves need to follow. They can carpool for a few days. They have to start saving water. So I always try to like tell this to my friends as well, and they all also try to listen to that. So I think it has to be from both the sides, and not just parents telling the children, and not just children telling the parents, and they're not listening. That was a fact that I wanted to share, and yeah, thank you.
I think that's a good reminder for adults. We can't just say things, tell you what to do. We need to actually walk the walk ourselves. So I appreciate that challenge, Nami. I really do. And, you know, we should all students or all kids should be talking to their parents about the same things. I love it. I just want to thank our panelists. Thank you so much, Maddie and Sam and Namia, for taking time out of your day, as always, to start these conversations. Arisha, thank you so much for being here. Can you tell everyone where we can find you online?
Oh, yes. You could, I guess I could give you my LinkedIn. It's Arisha LV, AARISHAELVI, or you can connect with me on Instagram if you like. It's the same, Arisha LV as well.
Thank you. We'll be sure to add that to the YouTube comments so people can connect with you. Thank you for taking the time, whether you're watching this live or you're watching the recorded version of this. We appreciate. Keep the conversation going all month long by using the hashtag Global EDSS Chat. We do continue slow chat questions throughout the month. So keep the conversation going because it's an important conversation. Please follow and connect with us on social media. You can find us on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. It's the handle at Global Ed SS Chat. So GLOBALEDSS Chat. You can also find us in the Flipgrid Discovery Library as well as YouTube. Watch for details about next month's chat, which will be posted on our website, globaledstudentchat.com, and it will happen in the new year on January 11th, 2022. Please note we're always recruiting new student panelists as well as guest panelists and people to run our social media. So if you have a knack for that, you want to share and amplify your voice, or have your voice be amplified and want to share your voice, please do connect with us. So thank you again, everyone. Have an amazing day and remember to keep the conversation going. Bye, everyone. Thank you.